Should your manager pay for your learning and education? And will most of them do it or not? Hello, I'm Dom. Welcome to my channel. And this time we're going to go into more of a personal development. It's still about continuous improvement, but more on the personal side. Maybe you notice it's not the first time I'm still uploading. Maybe you noticed some non-purple colors here, but no, that's because this video is much more about your development than your company's development per se. And do also let me know in the comments if that is something you would like to know a bit more about, right? Our experiences as CI managers, as people in the operational excellence field. Do you want to know those experiences from my side and those tips? This video today is going to be about paying for online courses specifically, but paying for learning. So will your manager likely pay for your online courses? I was quite interested in that also because, of course, I sell online courses that have a very strong business aspect. So basically, if you take a course with me, it's almost certainly for your professional skill set. And traditionally, companies pay for trainings for employees. So to what extent would managers, companies be interested or willing to pay for online courses that you found somewhere? For instance, with me, but can of course also be with plenty of other providers of this online education. Now, most bigger companies will have their own internal training courses, support departments, a global operational excellence department that should be doing these type of trainings for you. Maybe they make it themselves. More likely, they contract it out to, for instance, me as well, right? I also build courses and whole programs for companies, but then it becomes that company's, well, it becomes their system. And they have it as their own internal academy. And then usually, that's also one of the things, usually then you will not be reimbursed for having a very similar course. But then smaller companies, they really can't do that. But also the bigger companies, the courses that are available, sometimes they're just not available for you, the ones that you need, and you may not like them. So you, as an individual, you are looking around, right? You're watching these videos because you want a different take on things, a different way of learning. You have a style of learning. If you follow my videos, your style of learning most likely is with video content, watching things being talked about in a down-to-earth practical sense. I don't do too many PowerPoints, can of course do that, but there is a story here with some visuals and a lot of just experience. That's a style of learning that I like. That's why I can also teach it to you in this way. And for many people, it would be interesting, if this is also the way I do my courses, to have that as their resource for corporate learning. So I went out and checked with a whole bunch of managers I know. Some I know well, some I just worked with once or twice. And I asked them, would you reimburse the cost of a team member's online training that they found somewhere? Say they find a nice problem-solving training. This is something that it is basically needed in any company anyway. So it fits the role. They're not gonna take that training to problem-solve stuff with their partner at home. It is a industry-focused problem-solving training. Would you reimburse that? And 80% of them said yes. Now, half of them also put an extra if condition to this, which, by the way, also means that about 40% of the managers that I asked this would say yes, or even great, wonderful, yeah, no, that's really no problem. It fits more or less with what the employee needs, please. The other 40% said, well, yes, but, and the most important thing is it should fit your tasks, so it must support the tasks that you do for your role, your job description. That is the most important part, right? If you are not on the problem-solving team, then probably you're not gonna get that course reimbursed. But wait, because we still have a good reason to ask. Now, the other parts are, it should fit within the training budget, which is quite logical, honestly. So for the cheaper courses that you often see online, we're talking about from a couple of tens to a couple of hundreds of dollars, usually you can get this into a budget, but here also, if you work in a collective labor agreement style, or you work in a more structured, larger corporation where the HR rules are a bit more stringent, then you really have those training budgets, right? And maybe you have a $1,000 training budget annually per employee, and then you cannot go over that. By the way, if you have those type of budgets, you can probably get a whole bunch of things reimbursed. And then for some companies, getting an invoice is important, which also makes it a bit tricky, because I can tell from my side as a content creator, but also a course creator, sending out specific invoices for these relatively lower ticket products, like $30, $100 even. It's possible, but we're not set up to do that, right? I also have a website that takes care of all of this for me. You get a very nice proof of having purchased it. So that for most companies is enough, but then it's a bit more difficult to get things like VAT back. And so your finance department will not really love you if you don't get an invoice, but even this can be arranged, right? And then I can also arrange it for you if that is really needed. But those are a couple of those conditions on having a yes if. Then the ones, so the sort of 20% who said, probably not, their main reasons were, we either have it in-house, which I think is a very good reason, but even then, think about the in-house training, the format might just really not be your thing. But okay, so we have it in-house, then I do agree, use the in-house resources. And confidentiality is such an important part for our company, and especially if you're in higher tech or in pharma type of companies, confidentiality, probably also in the higher end type of financial corporations, confidentiality is so important that they would not like you to work together with and ask questions and open up company information to all kinds of teachers online. I think that this is mainly a problem for the more interactive courses, but your company may see it as a problem. So that is something to discuss. Now, why did the 80% say yes, probably, as long as? Because it is generally much more efficient than having that in-house training. So that in-house thing is really the alternative. And that is something for you to know if you are thinking about online courses. And of course, I also think you can pay a couple of them yourself, and it's also your own career path. But at some point, when you're doing quite a number of these courses for your professional development, specifically for an employer, but making them to be in-house courses, I can also, again, tell you from personal experience, what I've charged the companies to make it specifically for them is a lot more than what you would pay if you just want to do one of my pre-made courses. And the same will be true for any of the online course providers, right? Course creators. We assume that so many people are going to do that course. So if you pay 50, 100, 200 bucks, then we get the same money that it would sort of normally generate if you really make the course and then give it away to a company. But that also means most companies really do not get so many people through that same training in an effective way. They might force a lot of people through the training, but not motivated people. And that is a big one. And I got that back and I thought, yeah, of course. I hadn't even really thought about it. That's why I was so happy that I did this survey. And it's said in a couple of different ways, but it comes down to when you go to your manager and you say, oh, I've got this great course, it'll really help me in my work, can I do it? And then you do it, then you also want to put it into practice. That creates such a boost of motivation for you. This is super valuable for your manager, for your company, right? So purely, one of the managers even said, purely the motivational boost that it will give if I say, yes, go do this course and then implement it, that's worth at least $100. I thought, yes, of course, because in the end, they've got you to do things for the company. So if you get a boost of energy, a new skill, you want to try it, you want to make sure you do the best you can, maybe you get a bit of help even from the teacher during the course, brilliant, right? And the relatively low ticket prices of an online course, for a company, it's not that much. And then especially if it then also gives results for the company, you can do a whole lot of support from the global team, or you have your specific, your subject matter experts, right? Or your tool experts that have to fly in and you have to get it done. And then it's just, if you can, as a manager, right, have somebody in your team follow a course and be motivated to do it, you will get those results so much quicker than if you go through all the bureaucracy inside a larger corporation. So really nice things to know. And also for you, this means if you were thinking, Tom or somebody else on the internet, they're providing nice courses, I would like it, but still, I feel my boss should pay for it because it is basically work related. And I definitely understand that sentiment. But you are a bit reluctant to go to your manager. Please do. Please do. 80% of them will say yes if, right? So if it sort of complies with those things, if it fits your role, that's the most important thing, then the chance you get a positive answer is very high. Saves you a bit of money, you can spend it on a nice dinner with your partner. But if they say no, you still have a huge benefit. That is why I would like to challenge you. Go to your manager with your training ideas, your training requests. Because if they say no, they still do know, they want to develop their problem-solving skills. They want to develop their specific statistical Six Sigma type of skills. So that's interesting, because that means that I can use them in the future for these type of projects, or when it comes up, they know that they can think about you. This is great input that not only shows your motivation and your willingness to develop, but it is also your development plan is building. Now, if you have the training in-house, you just didn't know about it, they will probably point you to it. If the quality of that training is very poor, you can have a bit of a discussion, an open discussion with your manager about that. Maybe that is enough reason for them to still change to, okay, yeah, let's do it. But all of this is just a brilliant way to open up that what is your development path within the company and for yourself. And that is a critical conversation that you should have with your manager anyway. So that is why, especially after having heard this feedback on the survey from a whole bunch of managers, I just have to advise you, if you see a course that you would like to use for your work and you think that your company would benefit from it, go and discuss it with your manager. There probably is budget for these things. Maybe the budget is there in a few months, you have to wait a little bit. Maybe this is just a warm-up, you pay this one yourself, but you know that the next one is going to be paid by the company. And even if not, it can only work positively for the way that you are perceived. So I hope you do that. Hope you like that I spent some time on this for you. If you did, do hit that like button. If this draws any reactions or questions, do put them in the comments below. I mean, I'm also here to help you, and I hope that you have a better learning experience and a better career development from it. So I will leave you with that. I hope that you enjoy your lifelong continuous improvement journey.